today is the simple exposure effect. Do you know what is pure exposure effect? Simple exposure effect, also translated as repeated exposure effect. It is a psychological phenomenon. People will develop a favorable impression of something simply because they are familiar with it. Psychologist Bayes once conducted such an experiment. He first asked several college students to look at some characters' faces. Some looked at them 25 times, while others only looked at them once or twice. It was found that, as the exposure frequency increases, they didn't feel it at first. Those college students' liking for the faces of the characters will also increase. In the end, they feel good about the person they see the most. This effect is called the simple exposure effect. That is to say, as long as a person, thing, or thing keeps appearing in front of one's eyes, the more chances one has to fall in love with that person, thing, or thing. Exposure effect in business. The exposure effect is not only applied to love, but is also commonly used in business. Take the Coca-Cola Company as an example. In every football game, concert, and well-known artist, you will see Coca-Cola sponsoring a lot, just to appear in the eyes of consumers for a second. Even in some football games, Coca-Cola only appears for a few seconds. Such a fleeting moment still makes Coca-Cola willing to spend a lot of money to gain exposure. Subliminal advertising. The so-called subliminal advertising is to use consumers' subconscious perception to stimulate advertising as a means of promoting products. Have you heard this saying? People won't notice until you post your ad 7 times. It's likely adapted from a similar expression often used in marketing. It takes an average of 7 phone calls to close a deal. For 7 times every time the advertisement is repeated, the audience of the advertisement will naturally become more familiar with the product and company. Unless they have a special reason, they will slowly accept the product in their hearts. As acceptance of the item grows, a close relationship is established and develops. A relationship must be established between consumers and products based on a certain sense of comfort. Because of the sense of comfort, consumers will have a stronger sense of trust and will be willing to buy this product. All advertising seeks to create a difference in consumers' attitudes and perceptions. Through repeated advertising, these small differences can accumulate into a huge momentum, enough to tip the balance of consumer decision-making towards the brand that advertises the product for sale. But could repetition have adverse consequences? Possible. Research shows that repetitive advertising and marketing methods are only effective within an optimal range. Beyond this range, consumers will become disgusted. Bye-bye.